I'm Nancy Stohlman, and I am here to answer your flash fiction questions. So today's question is kind of a two-part. So daily writing prompts are great, but when do you stop making new little beginnings and dedicate yourself to finishing? So that's a really great question, and I think really what we're talking about here is finishing. How do you finish what you've started? And I kind of have a two-part answer to that. So I think that the resistance to finishing, the reason that we wouldn't finish something, usually comes down to either discipline, which we hear a lot about, and inspiration. So let me talk briefly about discipline. So usually when you don't finish something, you automatically assume, oh, I'm not disciplined enough. I should be getting up at 4 in the morning and writing. And this goes for whether you are writing a book or a story, right? This idea of like, I'm not finished because I'm not disciplined and I'm a terrible writer and so I should just give up, right? That can be true. That could be true. It could be true that you're just not creating time in your day for the writing to revisit what you're writing. That can be true. What I tend to find more often is the reason that we don't finish is because we don't like the story. We don't like it anymore. Maybe we used to like it and we don't like it anymore, or maybe we started it and we just don't care. It's just not that great of a story. It's not compelling us. And so in that case, I think that these little beginnings that don't finish are often just like, let me try this idea, I don't like that idea. Let me try this idea, I don't like this idea. And that not finishing isn't necessarily a sign of you being a bad writer. It's a sign of like, how many pencil drafts does a visual artist have to go through before they get the version that they actually feel like committing to paper? Well, I'm not a visual artist, so I can't tell you how many drafts that is, but I assume many. I assume that there's many drafts that you have to go through in order to find exactly what it is that you wanted to paint. And I think that's the same thing with writing, whether it's a book or whether it's a piece of flash fiction, is you are trying to figure out what it is that excites you, what lights you up, what makes you want to return to the page. I hope that everybody has had the experience of writing something that was just like, whoa, it just wrote itself. You just wrote it in one sitting. It just kind of poured out of you. That's the sweet spot. That's when the muse is being really generous and lovely to us, and that's what we always want. But I think that you can kind of test an idea. If you're writing something and you're just not feeling compelled to finish it, maybe it's just not compelling. Or maybe you need to try it another way. Maybe you're going to revisit this idea later. What I would say to that, both in the writing of a flash fiction piece and then also a longer, novel or flash novel, is for me, knowing too much about a story kills it for me. That's why I don't outline. I don't outline where my stories are going or where my books are going. If I've got it all outlined and I know exactly what's going to happen and then this is going to happen and this is going to happen, I'm completely bored with it. I don't care about showing up to it because there's nothing in it for me. I already know what's going to happen, and now I'm just kind of like logging the clock and putting in the words, but I'm not excited about it. There's nothing that's going to surprise me about it. I've got it all mapped out. So for me, knowing too much about a story kills my inspiration to return to it and discover what it's about. And so it could be that you are going into your stories assuming that you know the whole story and now you just have to get it down. And maybe it would be interesting to revisit your stories and allow yourself to not know. Take away the outline. Take away what you think is going to happen. Take away where you think it's going to end and just see where it ends. Yeah. And one other tip I have, especially for writing flash fiction, is whenever possible, try to write a complete draft from beginning to end in one sitting. So if you have an idea for a flash piece, even if you're not sure where it's going, even if you don't love what happens, try writing it from beginning to end rather than starting it and coming back to it and starting it and coming back to it. It's much easier to write it from beginning to end, decide what you like about that, and then the next day try it again from beginning to end in another way and see what works about that or what doesn't work about that. So a bunch of ideas for you. I hope that you start and finish, and I will see you again soon. Thank you.